This is the eAhora M1P Pro, and it is the first electric cruiser that made my weekday rides calmer and quicker than my car, without the fuss of gears or gas. It lets me glide through traffic with real motorcycle confidence, and I did not expect that from an electric bike that is this easy to live with. I would put this squarely in the electric cruiser motorcycle category. It looks like a modern chopper and rides like a comfortable city bike. It fits riders who want a simple, twist-and-go commute, people returning to two wheels who do not want to manage a clutch, and anyone who wants the presence of a motorcycle without the noise, heat, or frequent maintenance. If your life is mostly city streets, short highway stretches, and weekend loops outside town, this speaks directly to that routine. The design matters in daily use, and this body shape nails the practical side of style. The frame sits low, so flat footing at stoplights is easy, which takes a lot of stress out of slow traffic and tight parking. The matte black finish does not scream for attention, but it hides dust and little scuffs better than glossy paint, which I learned after a few muddy rides and a clumsy boot scrape. The wide synthetic leather seat with an air cushion is not just show. I can sit through a full afternoon of errands and still feel fresh, and my lower back thanks the raised cruiser bars that keep my arms relaxed. The front fork is stout, not noodly, and together with the rear shocks and those fat tubeless tires, the bike shrugs off potholes and curb cuts that would punish thinner wheels. I have a tall windshield fitted. I thought it would look odd, but on breezy days it takes the edge off wind pressure, and on cooler mornings it keeps my chest out of the chill. The foot pegs are metal and confidence-inspiring, and the rear seat is not an afterthought. I have carried a full-size adult friend twice and the bike stayed composed. The side bags and the little tool pouch are practical. They hold a rain layer, a lock, and a grocery run without rattling around. Getting started is refreshingly simple. I had to attach the handlebar and mirrors out of the box, which took me about 30 minutes. The printed instructions were a little thin, so I used the video guide on my phone. After that, the daily routine feels dialed. There is a keyless fob. I tap unlock, press the power button, the twin liquid crystal displays wake up, and I am ready to roll. The left screen shows speed, battery percentage, and trip distance in big, clear characters I can read at a glance through a tinted visor. The right screen is where I switch the 3 power modes. I usually start in the middle mode for neighborhoods, then bump up to the strongest mode when I hit faster lanes. The throttle mapping is smooth from a standstill, so I never feel that jerky on and off behavior I have found on some smaller electrics. Mirrors stay stable at speed. Turn signals are bright. The horn is loud enough for city use without sounding like a toy. The core performance surprised me after the first block. The rear hub motor is rated at around 4,000 watts, and it feels every bit of that when you twist it hard in the strongest mode. From a stop, it does not lurch. It builds quickly and cleanly, and once you pass neighborhood speeds, it pulls with real authority up into the high 40s miles per hour. On my usual bridge climb, it holds speed with zero drama. There is a soft electric whir that fades into the background, which lets me hear tires and traffic around me better than I can on a gasoline bike. Braking is where it really earns trust. Hydraulic discs front and rear give a solid bite with good feel at the lever. Panic stops in a parking lot drill felt controlled, with no fade and no squeal once the pad's bedded in. The chassis itself feels planted. That long wheelbase and fat rubber help the bike settle into corners instead of flicking nervously, and I prefer that stable attitude for commuting. Range is the question I always get, and here is what I saw. Riding a mix of the lower and middle power modes around town, with a few short blasts in the strongest mode, I consistently ended a day around 50 miles on a charge. On a relaxed weekend ride where I kept things smooth and avoided long full throttle stretches, I reached roughly 55 miles before I plugged in. If I stay in the strongest mode and ride like I am late for everything, the range drops, but that happens with every electric I have tried. Charging from a standard home outlet took roughly 4 hours from low battery to full, which fits nicely with a work day or an evening recharge. The battery is large and heavy. I can remove it, but I prefer to charge it on the bike unless I really need to bring it inside. Real testing looks like this. Morning rush hour, cars dicing for the same lane, and the road is chewed up from construction. The M1P Pro launches cleanly into gaps, so I never feel stuck. When I roll off and cover the brake, the levers give predictable bite. Potholes that would rattle my teeth on a skinny tire scooter get muted to a thump. The seat spreads pressure so my hips do not complain during long red lights. On a windy afternoon, the windshield keeps buffering off my helmet and my neck does not tense up. A quick rain shower rolled through one day. With the motor carrying an ingress protection rating 6.7, I kept riding without second-guessing every puddle, and the electricals behaved perfectly. On a lark, I turned down a sandy service trail that I usually avoid. The fat tires tracked better than I expected for a street-focused machine. It is not a dirt bike, but it did not feel fragile out there. My favorite use case is a medium-length commute. I leave home, hit neighborhood streets, then take a faster road with a few long stretches. I run the middle mode through the slow parts, then switch to the strongest mode once traffic opens. The bike keeps pace without feeling strained, and because there is no clutch and no gears, my brain is free to watch for drivers on their phones instead of dancing on foot controls. At work I park in a narrow corner spot. This is where the weight shows up. Pushing the bike around by hand in a tight space takes muscle, and smaller riders will notice it. After work, I stop for groceries. The side bags hold a surprising amount, and when I need a bit more, I use a small cargo net over the pillion. I mount my phone in the built-in holder, plug into the universal serial bus port for a top-up, run navigation, and keep an eye on battery percent on the left display. When I step away for coffee, I arm the alarm from the fob and walk in without fumbling for keys. There are thoughtful features that actually improve life with it. The twin liquid crystal displays are simple and readable, not cluttered with nonsense. The alarm and keyless operation sound like small conveniences, but once you live with them every day, it is hard to go back. The lighting package covers high and low beams, turn signals and flashers that are properly bright, which helps a lot when I ride home after sunset. Department of Transportation certification on the relevant parts gives me extra confidence that this is not a toy dressed up as a motorcycle. The option to run a second battery for longer rides is a big deal if you like weekend loops or need an extended commute. The waterproof rating on the motor is not marketing fluff. I have ridden in steady rain and parked outside during a storm, and everything powered up normally the next morning. It is not perfect. The bike is heavy. That solid feel on the road translates into a workout when I am backing it into a tight garage space. The battery is not light, so plan where you will charge. Assembly is mostly straightforward, but the printed guide could be clearer. Thankfully, once it is set up, you rarely need to wrench on it. The range numbers are honest as long as you ride like a normal human. If you peg the throttle in the strongest mode for long stretches, you will watch the percentage tick down quickly. The windshield look is subjective. It works well, but some riders will prefer the naked style. Those are compromises I can live with because the daily ride is so stress-free. Over a few weeks, what stuck with me is how quickly this became part of my routine. I stopped thinking of it as a novelty and started thinking of it as my best way to cross town. It is quiet, quick enough to feel fun, and comfortable enough that I do not dread rough pavement. I still get that little buzz of satisfaction when the light turns green and I glide away without noise or fumes. When a friend hopped on the back, the chassis did not complain and neither did the brakes. When the clouds opened up, I kept going and the bike never flinched. That is what I want out of an electric motorcycle. Less friction in daily life, more moments that feel smooth and competent. If you are a city or suburban rider who wants a real motorcycle feel without the complexity of a clutch, this is an easy recommendation. If you are new to riding and want something approachable that you will not outgrow in a month, it offers room to grow. If you are an experienced rider looking to replace short car trips with something cleaner and more enjoyable, it pairs comfort with legitimate power. Just know that it is a sturdy machine with a sturdy battery, so plan your parking and charging. Check your local regulations about licensing and registration, because those vary wildly. For me, this electric cruiser replaced a lot of short and medium car journeys, and it made me look forward to the ride home. To learn more about the eAhora M1P Pro, please check the comments section. Thank you for watching.